one.
Hi, everyone. This is Craig Proctor, and welcome to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. It's my pleasure to introduce to you longtime Craig Proctor member, Hal Blake over in Staten Island. Hal, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well, Craig. I'm excited. I'm honored to be here. I really do appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Well, thanks. Hey, you've been around for a long time, and you're quote all in on the Craig Proctor system, which I love. Hal, you serve Staten Island and Brooklyn.
We do.
I understand you were a detective with the New York Police Department before you got into real estate. Perfect training.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how did you make this transformation from being a New York City detective, police officer to real estate?
So I wound up retiring quite young due to an injury, and a partner of mine from the police department had gotten to real estate prior to me, was doing really well. And he says, hey, why don't you come and learn the real estate business? And I was like, no way, I have no interest in doing that. Thank you very much. But after a little convincing, that's exactly what I did. I traveled to another part of the city on a daily basis, learned the business, and never looked back. That was 1999.
1999. Now, what's your business look like today? Let's fast forward, because you've got an awesome business. As you can see, the brokerage is called Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. It is a Craig Proctor brokerage. So what Hal has done is Hal has licensed the intellectual property from me, from Craig Proctor, for his company and all the realtors that work there. Hal knows what it's like to be a solo agent, and he likes being an owner of a company better because it gives him more freedom. It gives him more money, gives him time to do what he wants to do, better serves his life. But that's also true, Hal, for everyone that works on your team. And we're going to talk about how you're recruiting agents in Staten Island, in the Brooklyn area, how you're growing your team. And the reason you're growing your team is you just got so much business coming in, you just don't simply have the manpower to handle it.
Absolutely. I mean, it just comes down to overflow. And then leveraging other people's systems and processes, which of course you're an expert at, and we're glad to be associated with the Craig Proctor system for sure.
Well, as we say, you can't grow your business without an overflow of it. So we're going to talk today about probates. That's something that Hal Blake's had a lot of success with. So we're going to share with you some documents, and if you stay with us till the end of the interview, you'll be able to download what we show you here today. But I want to talk to you a little bit about how Hal's team system works here, how his company works, which is if you're a realtor in Staten Island and you're watching this right now, check this out. Here's how you could actually make more money and have more time and more freedom at Hal's brokerage. Do you know that Hal generates all the leads? The leads go to an inside sales agent department. So we're not even giving, like leads to outside sales agents. They're filtered. Okay. So the inside sales agents call all the leads, qualify, and book real appointments with super motivated buyers and sellers that want to buy and sell now. And so what Hal's looking for are licensed agents that are able to go out on these appointments. He actually cannot. He does not have enough manpower to go to all the appointments. So it's something I want to talk about here, because if you are in Staten Island, you want to make more money. This is what your life would look like if you worked on Hal's team. You would simply go from listing appointment to buyer appointment. Hal even gives you the presentations. Like, he coaches you up on how to be super successful. Another way to look at this, if you're a realtor in Staten Island, here's what you'd never have to do again. All the stuff that you don't like, all the low dollar productive activities, they're taken away from you. So you would never be, pounding signs in the lawn, messing around with paperwork, getting pictures, taking pictures, getting keys cut, installing lock boxes. Hal's admin team takes care of all of that. What's really cool about this, Hal, is if I'm an outside sales agent on your team, I look at my day timer every day. Listing appointments are there. I just have to show up, use your presentation. And when I get that listing listing agreement signed, all I have to do is send that into your office. You guys take care of everything. All the stuff, the keys, the pictures. The file even goes over a customer service manager that introduces themselves and stays in touch with your seller, answering all their questions, letting them know how many showings they've had, what the feedback is, what you're doing to advertise and market. So the next time really that your outside sales agent is involved is when the offer comes in.
Exactly. I mean, it's that simple. And personally, I just wish I had understood this concept a long time ago. I would have made my career path much smoother, because I wore all the hats. I juggled all the balls. And you just can't do that effectively and represent your clients in a way that they want to be represented and that you want to represent them. And so the system affords you that opportunity to really be able to scale and grow through others, through systems, and through processes.
So what's your goal for this year? How many transactions do you think you'll do?
So the monetary goal, the GCI goal is 750,000, which would be 100% increase over what we did this past year.
That's awesome. Well, look, with that massive growth, you are going to need more talented, super motivated realtors to work with you. Again, the benefit is you will make more money, you will work less, you'll have more freedom. So if you're a realtor in Staten Island, you want to reach out to Hal just to have a conversation. Okay, it costs nothing to have a conversation about how you could partner up, be part of his team, and basically be fed pre-qualified, motivated, ready to act buyer and seller appointments every week on your calendar. You go do that. We coach you up on it, and we're going to keep growing this thing. So, Hal, we're going to talk about probates today. How did you get into probates, and why are they a good target market?
So it was totally by accident. My son came to work with me, I believe, in 2016, and we were brainstorming about how we can generate some business outside of what I had been doing previously, which was the manual grunt prospecting, the for sale by, that's how I cut my teeth, for sale by owners and expired listings. And so he stumbled onto a website that aggregated probate filing information and just sent it to you. And so we just started to since we were cold calling anyway, we decided let's add in like these personal representatives. It turned into just a significant part of our business. We've been able to help over 100 families with not only the sale of their home, which is sometimes the easy part, but we have now a team associated with a lot of the common obstacles that these personal representatives have to deal with above and beyond selling the team. So we've been able to help. What it's also been able to do for us is we've created a niche with our off-market. We've now increased the amount of our off-market inventory because we're well aware of these properties way before they ever hit the market. And we've created a lot of opportunities for our past clients, our lifetime customers, and our investors to really do really well. So it's had a multi-pronged effect on our business. And
okay, everybody get that? That's so important today. We know that the major problem we have is lack of inventory. There's usually nothing or very little on the market for your buyers. So by working probates, you know about what's going to go on the market before it goes on the market. And often you have a buyer for these properties. They don't even need to be listed on MLS. Like they're basically sold as soon as they're available.
We are doing so much more business off market these days outside the MLS with this one niche. It's also afforded us the ability to really get a premium fee because we're hand delivering these.
It's a service. Yeah, absolutely. It's a
And
service.
our investors, they wait in line for us to bring them something that they don't have to compete with others against, and they're willing to pay for it. So it's really been an amazing part of our business. Some years as much as 50% of our overall GCI. This past year, about 33% of our overall GCI came from this just one niche. Not to mention the services we're able to help family members who have a life to live. Now they've been given this added responsibility on top of everything else to deal with the legal process and all these ancillary issues, which seem to be very common: clean outs, repairs, identifying and selling valuable personal items. Some of them just need help in knowing what to do with the money after they get it. So we have a wealth strategist on our team. So we built a really great team to help them above and beyond just getting the property sold. And it's really been a great asset for us as a company and for the people we get to help. So,
okay, great stuff. Let's unpack this. So the issue in the marketplace right now, pretty much no matter where you live in the country, if you're a realtor, there's a massive inventory shortage. Chances are in your marketplace, if it's like my market or Hal's, you have sellers that will not sell until they find a property. But the problem is you can't find a property, so the seller won't sell. So one of the creative things that Hal is doing is, and he's done this for years, is one of his niches is probates. Okay, so with probates, it's his specialty. We're going to talk about how to do this, but you're going to have access to homes that are available before they're listed on MLS. Now, when you do this the traditional way, you're working with a buyer, and if the only source of properties you have for your buyer is what's listed on MLS, in this marketplace, it's a problem. How many of you realtors, how many of you have buyers that are burnt out? You know, they've got like buyer frustration because if you're only emailing them the daily updates as they come on MLS, in a lot of cases, by the time your buyer even knows about the property, it's sold, or there's 5 or 6 or 7 other offers. So doing it the traditional way, if your buyer is fortunate enough to even get the property, it means, Hal, in your case, it means your buyer has to pay more for that property than any other buyer in Staten Island thought the property was worth, right? So are we really doing the best job for our buyer, for representing the buyer? So one of the strategies that we teach you is how to find your own inventory, not just rely on MLS. And that's what Hal's talking about here today. One of his niches is probates. And so Hal has a presentation. We're going to quickly go through that. Faith, if you can pop that up. Now, we're not going to go into great detail here because you folks, if you're interested in this, we'll be able to download all of this at the end of our interview. But I'm going to have Hal just step through this, how he promotes it, how he does it, why he does it. So you guys see the opportunity here of finding properties that are not on the market, and probates is just one of the ways. I mean, there's divorce sales would be another niche. Just, you know, targeting neighborhoods. Like if Hal told me he wanted to buy a home in a certain neighborhood, I would target that neighborhood and find Hal a home, find him a home seller. Before that home seller's listed their home, I'm going to find a home seller that wants to sell, and I'm going to let my buyers know about that property, giving my buyers an edge. So Hal, take it away. Talk to us about what you've got here and get us excited about probates.
So this is a brochure that we send out to just about every personal representative that files for the probate process. And it just basically summarizes what we just talked about how we can assist them with some of the common issues we know they're going to be faced with. Now, we can't help them go through their loved ones' personal items and identify what they want to keep or what a family member may want. But once they get past that phase, and it can be painstakingly slow, but once they get past that, we can help them pretty much every step of the way. Whether it's to have a home cleaned out, well, we have a company locally that we would refer them to. Maybe they want to go on the open market at some point. So there are repairs or improvements that are necessary for them to get top dollar. We'll put them in touch with somebody that could help them. Maybe it's to identify whether or not there's anything in the home that might be valuable, and then hold an estate sale if there's enough in the house. We have an estate sale company, and so of course we have our cash, our vetted, very small group of highly vetted cash buyers, in case that's the way they'd like to go. And last but not least, we have a wealth strategist. If they don't know what to do with the money afterwards, we can put them in touch with somebody to help. So that's what's summarized in this brochure that we send out immediately upon getting their information.
So this really, you're able to set yourself apart from any other realtors or options that they may be considering by just really doing all of it for them, providing as little or as much as they want.
Right. And here's the thing, Craig. A lot of these personal representatives, they don't live locally, or they haven't for many years. They don't have connections locally. And in fact, that's where we find our biggest market share is with the personal reps when they don't live locally. So this is invaluable to somebody. We've represented people who live in South Africa, or every probably state in the country, who maybe lived here 30 years ago as a child, inherited their parents' home. They don't even know where to begin. This gives them a roadmap of how we can help them get through the process. And we've done it over and over again, and families really appreciate it.
Okay, let's talk about, how do you find the probates? Where do you get the leads, and how do you start this process?
So we partnered with a company. We found them online, alltheleads.com. And at about 5 years ago, they pretty much were just an aggregate of the information. They've become much more. They have their ISAs. They can do all the mail outs for you. So they're Jim Sullivan is one of the owners. They're great people. They run masterminds and role plays. So they become this really a complete company to help, because this is not a for sale by owner phone call. This is they take some finesse in making these calls.
Okay. So a role play.
With a faint of heart.
Do a role play with me. You get a probate lead, and you're right. You got to be sensitive about this, right? It's like there's a script that you've perfected. So let's say I'm the family, and I've had a relative pass away, and I've been left with this house, and I'm in California, let's say. So I'm on the other side of the country. What do I do with this? It's a long lost cousin. Maybe I've inherited this home. What is this script? How are you sent? Yeah, let's do a role play.
Sure. Hi, is Craig there?
Speaking.
Hey, Craig, my name is Hal. I'm with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Hey, I'm hoping you can help me. We've sent some information out in the mail, and I was just wondering if you ever received it. Typically, they'll say no, or I'm not sure. We get a lot of things in the mail.
Right.
And so it doesn't really matter what they say. And we just follow that up by saying, hey, listen, we've assembled a team to help personal representatives handle some of the issues that are common when people inherit properties, and then I go through the list. I'm not talking about the sale of the home. I'm not even asking them if they own a home. I'm just trying to get them to open up a little bit. And so we talk about some of the ways that we can help. And typically they will say that there's a property involved, and yes, we got to get there. It needs to be cleaned out. We don't know.
So sorry, are you identifying that there's a property they've inherited, or are you just calling, talking about your service, and they're saying, oh, by the way, we have a property?
We know that there was a filing. We don't know at this point. We're not even sure if there is a property. We just know that person had filed to move the will through the probate process. And so we'll during that conversation, we'll try to identify whether there is a home. They may never sell the home. We've helped many families with all of these ancillary services, and then they kept the home, or they sold it to a family member, or they FISBO'd it, or so. There's lots of ways. So we just want to let them know that we can take things off their plate that they may not be able to so easily handle.
And there's probably a sense of relief for a lot of people, because they really, perhaps this is unexpected, and all of a sudden they've got this property, and especially if they're out of state, if they're out of the area, it's like you really are saying, hey, we can take care of all of this for you. the contents, even right up to like what to do with the money when after closing date. How many of them take?
It's always a trust issue at the beginning, but once we actually get into the conversation and they realize about how many different ways we can help, it does become a relief. And particularly, like you said, with any personal representative who doesn't live locally or hasn't for many years, it really is a service that they find invaluable, and our reviews will bear that out. Some of the reviews we've gotten from these family members.
Yeah, so I assume you're leveraging off of those testimonials. That's another way that you're getting business. Okay, so what's the process after the phone call? So the prospect gets this call. You're telling them all of the different things that you can take care of. And I suppose some of them would not be interested, but for those that are interested, what's the next step?
So typically this is not now business. There's a lot of follow-up that goes into it, because the probate process can take several months to get what's called letters of testamentary, which is basically authority from the court to then go ahead and liquidate the process. So at that point, it's mostly my son, and it's just follow-up. It's just keeping in touch with them, letting them know they're ready. My son just met with a family the other day. They haven't even started going through the aunt's personal things, and that's not something we really can, and that'll take some time depending on the family, the closeness, or how much is in the house. So there is a process, and usually once they get past it, they've identified, removed anything that they feel has some sentimental or real value. They'll call us and we'll start. And typically it's a clean out. It'll go to a clean. And we offer them, they don't even have to clean it out. We have investors take the property as. So that's typically how it goes. But these are long-term leads. These are not things that you're going to call in like a FSBO and maybe list them tomorrow. But they appreciate the follow-up, because that's where the fortune is, right?
Yep. And probably that's why many realtors don't target probates. Exactly. It's not quick and easy, but when you have a system, it's very profitable. Let's pull up that report again, Faith, and I think there's a couple of pages to that, right? Did we look at the whole thing?
So I think I gave you the brochure, and I also gave you a copy of our script. I think is also might be there.
Okay, so that's the front and back. It's a two-sided brochure, and then there's this script. Is that the script we just role played?
Yes, and I think I sent over a copy of the script. If anybody's interested, again.
Okay, well, we'll make sure it's all downloaded there, folks. So first of all, for those watching, are you finding this extremely helpful? Okay, how many of you have considered, or maybe you are targeting probates? Right, these are off-market properties. There's a process to this. There is a methodology, and if you follow Hal's lead, you will be successful. Okay, now of course, Hal, this isn't the only thing that Hal Blake does to generate leads. This is just one of his target markets. It's been very profitable. Hal, you're doing a whole bunch of other things. He doesn't have one fishing line in the water. He's got many fishing lines in the water. But we decided to talk about this today because it's in this market, knowing what's going to come up for sale weeks or months before is a great advantage.
One of the things that we found with probates is, and from the people we've represented, is that nobody other than investors, nobody else is calling them. They may get a mailing from a realtor. So this is not a source that's being mined in any significant way by other realtors. So there is an opportunity here for agents who can get past, maybe we've tried it with ISAs making these calls. It doesn't really work. It really takes a little bit of finesse, empathy, of course, in terms of the situation that these people are dealing with. And if you're honest and you're straightforward with them, you'll get a great return on this. And again, once again, nobody's doing this. Rarely do we have a personal representative say, "Oh, I'm getting calls from other realtors." It's maybe a mailing.
Right. You're basically operating in a vacuum. Faith, you can really take that back down. Okay. So what else do we need to know about probates? What this has been a bigger part of your business. We've talked about the advantages and the disadvantages, right? The advantage, you're going to know about what's coming on the market before anyone else. Okay. There's not a lot of competition. Most realtors are in for the quick transaction. This is a process. Okay. So what are the things do we need to know to be successful with this?
Well, I would, this is also a great source if you as an agent or a broker are interested in investing. We sell many of these properties go to our investors because we personally don't flip. But I could have flipped half of these properties, well, maybe not half, maybe a third of these properties myself. So if investing is something you're interested in doing, it definitely affords you that ability to do it. It's just a matter of staying with them, and this is not you got to be all in with these families and be patient with them. And at the end of the day, like you said, our off-market inventory is always, the pipeline is constantly filled, which of course adds value to our clients in a way.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the reasons why buyers want to work with you is you've got access to unlisted or off-market properties that nobody else knows about. So
and we accentuate this now on our listing appointments, because just like you said, Craig, now these people who are selling and want to buy, they don't want to put their home on the market. They know what's going to happen. It's going to fly off the shelf. We are in, just like most other places, an historical low inventory environment locally. So when we sat with a homeowner yesterday, and I could see it didn't seem like we were really making headway, I told them, hey, when you become a client of ours, and you allow us to find you a home, here's what we're going to do. And you know what? I could see the light bulb go off. He said, this is why I'm going to hire you. This is why it's nothing about selling his home. Didn't matter. He knew it was going to sell. It was this.
Right. And a lot of realtors are just talking about the wrong things. Typically realtors are talking about, well, we can sell your home. We can get you a great price. The seller already knows that. Why are we talking about the obvious, right? Everyone knows, every seller knows that their house will immediately sell. They all know it's going to sell at a great price. That's not the problem. We got to address the problem. The problem is where are they going to go? You could bring the seller an offer for 130% of what their house is worth. They're not going to take it. What are they going to be, homeless? We got to find them a place. Yeah. So Hal goes the extra mile, okay, to find his buyers, not just what's on the MLS, but homes that are going to be for sale. The home seller wants to sell them. Now, you could do this with for sale by owners. You could do this with divorce sales. There are many, many ways that you can find home sellers that want to sell their property. Now, some of you might ask, well, why wouldn't they just, why wouldn't the home seller just list on MLS and get 5 offers? Well, a lot of them will, but there are some sellers that are not interested in that. That's why there's iBuyer companies, right? That's why there's OfferPad. That's why there's Open Door, because there is a segment of the home selling population that, for convenience sake, even though they know they're selling it for maybe a little bit less, but for convenience sake, they don't want to go through, the virtual tours and all the hoopla and having their home on the market. That's who, we're looking for sellers that want to sell and get an instant offer on their property. And so, Hal, if you were my buyer, this is what I would be presenting to the buyer. What's unique about my service? I would not be saying to the buyer today, well, gee, Hal, I'm going to email you the homes on MLS. First of all, the buyer says, I can do that on my own. I don't need you to do. I can sit my couch and get daily updates. And so can all the other realtors we compete with. They're all talking about, I'll email you what's on MLS. Or they're talking about to the buyer about, well, I'll negotiate the best. I'm a great negotiator. You know what the buyer says today? Now that I have access to all the information, I can go directly to the listing agent and negotiate a good price. So we've got to stop talking about things that aren't important to the buyer. We got to stop talking to the buyer about things the buyer can do on their own. They can get their own daily updates. They have the internet, okay? But when you say to the buyer, like that example you just gave us, Hal, when you can say to the buyer, not only are we going to get you access, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, to all the homes that are on MLS, we go the extra mile. We roll up our sleeves and we are looking for home sellers that aren't listed yet. Okay, we target probates, we target divorce, we target for sale by owners. We have a large database of sellers who've been working with, and some of those sellers would prefer just to not list their home, go through all the hoopla, and they would sell their home to you. You would have access to properties that other buyers wouldn't have. Now, the buyer likes that, right? Because the buyer's like, well, the other agent I was talking to, if I work with them, they're only going to email me what all the other buyers know about. And a lot of these properties, because they've been through this, a lot of buyers are burnt out. They're fatigued on this process, right? How many buyers, folks, if you're watching this right now, realtors, how many buyers have you been working with where the buyers have just called it off, right? The buyers are like, all right, this is crazy. You know, they can't find a property. They've made many offers. They keep losing out, even though they're going in wherever the asking price. So a lot of buyers are suffering this buyer fatigue. They're like, forget about it. Maybe I'll just look next year. We'll put it off. We have solutions here, folks. This is what Hal is talking about. This is why he's building a large business and why he needs more help. So again, if you're in Staten Island, you're a realtor in Staten Island, you don't have to figure out how all this works. Okay, everything you want to do in real estate is already being done by Hal Blake and his company, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. All you need to do is contact. What's the best way to reach you, Hal?
So call me directly, 718-608-4892, 718-608-4892. Best way to contact me.
Okay, Staten Island and Brooklyn. Now, if you're not a realtor in Staten Island or Brooklyn, you're a realtor somewhere else in the United States or Canada or wherever, you want to contact me. Okay, if you're in Staten Island, Brooklyn, you're going to contact Hal because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Everything you want to do in real estate is already being done by Craig Proctor system members all over the world. So if you're outside of Hal's marketplace and you would like to book a free breakthrough call, it will be a breakthrough. We'll show you how to go from where you are to where you want to go. I'll give you my best advice on how to do what Hal's doing. Have your own super profitable sales team or your own brokerage. You should set up a time to speak to me. How do you do that? We'll type this into the comments below. It's my name, proctorcall.com. If you go to proctorcall.com, you go to my acuity date timer. You can book a day and time that works with you. You can talk to me and my team. We'll ask you some questions. Where are you right now in your business? What are your biggest problems? Where do you want to go? Why aren't you already doing the thing you want to do? Because there's a problem. There's an obstacle. We'll show you. We'll give you our advice on how to go around that problem and achieve your goals. This is not a big sales pitch. It will be a conversation. That's how Hal's with me all these years later. It all started off with Hal and I talking, having a conversation. So Hal, I want to thank you so much for being with us today, sharing all your wisdom, your success. You're growing this brokerage. It's big. Hal is all in on the Craig Proctor system. So for those of you that are interested in speaking to Hal or myself, we'd love to speak to you. We'll have our information in the comments below. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up, Hal?
I just want to, for your audience, anybody wants to find out more about alltheleads.com or wants to subscribe, I was able to get a discount from them. They're great people over there. So it's alltheleads.com/Blake Team. Once again, alltheleads.com/Blake Team. Choose your area and fill out the short form, and they'll give you a call. And we've arranged for a special discount for anybody who has an interest. And I recommend you all go do that. It's a great service, and it's helped me to be able to help hundreds of families and make a lot more money. So, Craig, thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Let's go make some money, everybody. Thank you for watching the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Take care.